Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. And I gotta start with this from Good Morning Crypto. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse is on the short list for the U.S. Crypto Advisory Council. This comes from the New York Post. Do you believe Ripple CEO will be added to the council in 2025? Keep in mind, his company is currently in a lawsuit against the SEC. The fact that Brad is being put on the short list for the U.S. Crypto Advisory Council tells you that the Ripple vs. SEC case is about to come to an end. And the fact that Brad will be on that council, they're going to be steering everything around crypto towards a path forward inside the United States. I'm waiting to see if Brad makes the list. I will keep you updated. Ripple Custody, Archax, IBM Cloud, regulated institutional grade service to bring the highest level of security and compliance. I'm still waiting for Archax to start to bring that $30 to $50 trillion of real world assets to the XRP ledger. And the only thing that's holding that back still is regulations in the United States. Once that happens, that's it. Tokenization will skyrocket very fast. You're going to see tokenized everywhere. There's going to be so much talk about it. Larry Fink's going to be talking about it. Franklin Templeton is going to be talking about it. Every single player in the tokenization arena is going to be tokenizing assets on all of these networks. Ripple's Eric von Miltenberg explains tokenization to a panel at Davos, GBBC, picking up where Jasmine Cooper recently left off. Take a listen to this. He also talks about regulations a little bit as well.
In any way, contrary to what the panelists say, but at Ripple, we've kind of been on this journey of providing infrastructure, digital asset infrastructure for enterprises, for financial institutions for almost a decade now. I mean, our insertion point was with cross-border payments. We have hundreds of financial institution customers around the world. And it's been a journey, right? Initially, I remember being in meetings 4, 5, 6 years ago with a large bank where their team would be with the executive team, and their team would prep us and say, don't say Bitcoin, don't say digital asset, they'll kick you out. And to see the evolution has been dramatic. Initially, we really were providing infrastructure in the form of a messaging product, kind of a swift update or replacement. Since then, we work with our customers, we make sure we're compliant. I think that's obviously a critical part of the infrastructure that we need to keep very much top of mind. And we move at their pace. Sometimes that's very frustrating when you're dealing with large traditional financial institutions, but the speed at which they want to operate and iterate and innovate is increasing dramatically. We started with cross-border payments. Another core piece of infrastructure, obviously, is custody. We made an acquisition a little over a year ago, a company called Medico in Switzerland that is now that is Ripple Custody, that is serving some of the largest banks and providing that incredibly important piece of infrastructure. And then, per the comments before, I mean, this next wave of tokenization, and of course, tokenization in and of itself is great, and there's efficiencies, but once you tokenize something, you have to do something with it. You have to be able to store it, come in a compliant, safe way. You have to be able to transact. You have to be able to move value. So it's really putting together, not a piece of the infrastructure, either doing sort of collaborating with others to bring those pieces together in a way that's seamless, and/or providing those capabilities organically in-house. And we're, as a company, exploring all of those.
Take notice, he said, you're going to have to transact. You're going to have to move those assets, that value. And that's what XRP is going to be doing, moving all of that real world asset value all around the world. People are missing that. When they're giving price predictions, they'd never want to factor in tokenization. And if they do, they downplay it because it hasn't taken off quite yet. But like he said, all these institutions, they're eager to get this going. And Larry Fink wants it to happen as soon as yesterday. So now he's going to push even harder for that to happen all throughout 2025. Genius bill, 100 days or less. This is that stablecoin bill. They want to get this done within 100 days, but it can happen even sooner. And here's David Sachs once again giving us that time frame.
Have you on Overtime. Welcome.
Good to be here.
So that's exactly where I want to start with you, and that is the fact that you did talk about the need for this clear regulatory framework. How quickly can you stamp this up?
Well, I was on the Hill today meeting with the leaders of our House and Senate committees for banking and for finance, and they are very committed to moving legislation through the House and the Senate this year in order to provide that clear regulatory framework that the digital assets ecosystem needs to sustain innovation in the United States. And so those chairmen, I think, are very committed. President Trump is committed, and I think we can do something here. But as you know, moving legislation through Congress takes time. But I think this is something we could do in the next 6 months.
So he's predicting within the next 6 months. And if you could get something through the House and the Senate very quick, it gets put in place very fast, especially with Trump now at the White House. And maybe Trump will push even harder to get this done sooner. We have to catch up with the rest of the world. They have a 4-year head start on us. Think about that. But like I said, I think it'll happen sooner. Over 100K RLUSD transactions recorded in 2 months since launch amid steady adoption. And I want to point this out right here. According to the crypto analytics firm, about 109,000 RLUSD transactions have been completed so far. 95% of them are about 105,000 on the XRP ledger, and only around 4,100 on Ethereum. Remember, everybody said, this is only going to benefit Ethereum. So now you see 95% of those transactions are happening on the XRP ledger. Remember, we are still in the stage of picking winners and losers. Crypto assets that may not be compliant can continue trading until July 2026. And you see it right here. This has to do with MiCA regulations. So the fact that they have until July 2026, that's also the same time frame as the US stablecoin regulations as well. This is when Tether will end up collapsing out, because I'm expecting a lot of countries to jump on board with stablecoin regulations once the US has them in place. Any country that transacts in the US dollar will have the same regulations as the United States. And even the regulations that they're putting forward with that Genius Act, that looks a lot like MiCA already. I don't think Tether has a future in the United States. Ripple partner FIS unlocks FedNow send capabilities, paving the way for instant payments revolution. FIS announced that it's among the first fintech providers certified to enable send capabilities for credit transfers on FedNow, supporting the continued adoption of instant payments in the United States. FedNow is going live next month. It's just a little over a month from now. That's how close we are. And that's why I said, I think that we are going to see the Rippleverse SEC case come to an end before FedNow goes live. Eric Trump reveals the real reason Donald Trump and the Trump family support crypto. Take a listen to this.
Guys, I've seen the modern financial system be weaponized. I've seen politics be weaponized. I've seen the legal system in this world be weaponized. And it's one of the reasons that I love crypto. It's one of the reasons I so strongly believe in DeFi. I saw you guys go through those same attacks every single day. I saw them come after you. I saw them strip your bank accounts. I saw them cancel you like crazy. The same thing that they were doing to us because we were running for politics is the exact same thing that they were doing to the crypto industry.
And, you know, he says he's very bullish on DeFi. DeFi is what's going to allow us to become our own bank. No longer having to go to the local bank. You'll be able to borrow against your crypto, loan out your crypto, get that passive income. But the reason I wanted to show you this video is because that crackdown was real. Anchorage Digital, custody of many cryptocurrencies, including XRP, is the only OCC chartered crypto bank that struggles to connect with traditional banking despite being a bank. So they were even struggling as a bank to connect with traditional banking. Take a listen to this.
Macaulay, Anchorage Digital has the honor of being the only OCC-related federally chartered crypto bank in the United States. This stamp of approval from the OCC should provide your company with legitimacy and access to traditional banking services. However, as you detailed in your testimony, Anchorage has still struggled to access the traditional banking system despite you're a bank. This is unacceptable. Could you elaborate on Anchorage's debanking experience and the impact on your business operations, including making payroll for your employees and going beyond the 20% layoffs? Devastating for any business. Our employees are very much like our families when you're in business. And I'd love for you to share, in addition, other issues and challenges that you face because they don't want you to be a bank.
Senator Scott, thank you for the question. I think the first effect that was so pernicious about the debanking that has gone on for the last several years has been the kind of betrayal of the bargain that is the American experiment. We were taught growing up that we would have a fair legal system and a fair justice system, that we could face our accusers. And so I would say the most devastating part of this to the crypto industry has been that betrayal of trust. And I think that as we look forward to the new administration coming in and thinking about the path forward here, that is probably the most important thing to reestablish is this industry's trust in the reliability of the American banking system and the legal and justice system here.
I expect Anchorage Digital to get the upper hand on all the other banks under the Trump administration. Because now the tide is shifting, like I keep saying, and we are now seeing the banks being allowed to get involved with crypto. And the fact that Anchorage Digital was a bank that was being debanked, so to say, I think, and because of crypto that was happening, I think they have a lot of experience with crypto. And I think now it's going to be their turn to get the upper hand. I want to see where this goes from here. But you know, I buy crypto and Fidelity knows I buy crypto. They only ever asked me about it one time. And it was because I was having a problem with the debit card actually that ended me up going to the bank. So I go into the bank to get a new debit card because it was compromised because of a card skimmer. They also talked about digital wallets at that time. They said, next year, this happened in 2024. And they said, next year, you're not going to have to worry about debit cards anymore because we are going over to digital wallets. If we could onboard our customers quick enough or educate them quick enough on a digital wallet. But they said, we see a lot of your money going out to Uphold at the time. And I said, yes, I buy crypto. And the only thing they questioned was actually MEXC at the time. They said, what about MEXC? We don't know too much about MEXC. And I was like, well, MEXC is another great exchange. And I said, but they are doing AML and KYC, anti-money laundering, and know your customer. And they didn't really go too much into detail. They just kind of told me that it's a very volatile industry and I could lose a lot of money in crypto. And then they started to proceed to try to talk me into an IRA. and a CD at the bank. But I was never a fan of the banks. I don't like banks at all because I don't trust the FDIC. Now with Trump at the White House and all of a sudden the shift with the FDIC, maybe things will turn around. I still think that the banks have to be consolidated at some point as we push towards central bank digital currency. Even if we go to a digital dollar, whether it be RLUSD, whatever form of digital money we use here in the United States, I still think they're going to want to consolidate the banks because it's going to be easier to onboard a handful of banks to digital money. But debanking was definitely a very big issue for the last couple of years. I have friends that also bought crypto and they couldn't buy it through their bank. They had to use a credit card instead to buy crypto because the bank would not allow the transaction to go through. But that wasn't Fidelity. That was other banks, smaller banks like PNC and Community Bank and so on. But it was definitely real. And I think we're about to see that all change now going forward. And I like the idea of that because new investors, I think they tried to make it hard for new investors to come into crypto. People buying crypto for the first time. All of a sudden, the bank doesn't allow the transaction to go through. And then that person is like, well, I guess maybe crypto isn't what I thought it is. Maybe it's not legitimate since the bank doesn't want me to buy it. But we are going into a much different time. And this much different time that I keep talking about is going to be what makes us as XRP holders very rich, because we are holding what's going to disrupt the entire banking system. We're holding what is going to be moving money, working alongside of SWIFT. Tokenized assets are coming. The institutions, they want to get this started ASAP. And once that gets started, I think we're going to see instant movement upward on the price of XRP. But until it happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.